And copy link. Put this in here. Put this in here. And there we go. So we should be good to go. Maybe. There we go. Look at that. Let's see. So we have the goal. We could reset the goal, I guess. An hour. And we could say, I will be very happy again. And let's just wait for some people to get back up into the show. Wonder if Blog Talk Radio is... we're still screwed on that as well. Lovely. I guess my internet had a hiccup. Yes, we are here. Okay, let's direct connect back into Blog Talk Radio. Because...
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you. Can we start the show now? Let's go. Let's start the show now, because I think
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press...
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
All right, we are here. We are all set up. I think my internet just glitched for a reason. I don't know. Who knows why? I don't know where I got cut off on the last one. Hello, Wundermom over on Twitch. Thank you for joining us back. So I guess we can just do our show restart. Welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Live Mondays and Wednesdays here on liberaldanradio.com and twitch.tv/liberaldanradio. Support the show. You can like the video, subscribe, share other videos, comment, like on other videos that I've posted. Go to Twitch. You can follow me over on Twitch. If you want a subscription for free for Discord Nitro for 3 months, you can pay for a month subscription that's new for you, or gifted a subscription to somebody else over on Twitch, and that will give you 3 months of Discord Nitro and all the benefits that come with that. So there's that. Again, Liberal Dan Radio on buymeacoffee.com, or just go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button to support the show that way, or you can just Venmo Liberal Dan as well. All the different ways to support the show. Instead of, again, reset the chat stream or the super chat goal just to have 5 super chats for the hour. I don't know. I do that simply because of the fact that I don't like having ads roll when we're live. There are other creators that do enable the live ads, and it's distracting. You miss stuff. You're trying to watch a show, you're in the middle of listening to a good point, and all of a sudden, boom. Now on Twitch, there's nothing I can do about it. That's how it works. With Twitch, to avoid the ads, you got to subscribe. But on YouTube, I can just shut the ads down for the live streams, and yeah, maybe I'm missing out a little bit of money, but I'd rather the show be better than have ads run mid-roll. So I guess while we're waiting for everybody to come back, let's see. I think this is Khalil. Is this Khalil on the phone?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for holding through my technical difficulties. I was having some issues. I think my internet cut out for a second and caused everything to crash down, and then we're back. So what's up with you? How was your weekend so far, or overall?
Pretty good. I just came from Richmond today, and I'm hoping to go back to Richmond in January or March of 2025.
Very cool. What happened? What was the thing again in Richmond? Remind us. Was there anything special, or just going to visit?
Well, if I go in January, it's a thing called Lobby Day. And I missed it the last time. I missed it last year, and it's about lobbying to get better laws.
Okay.
Basically, Virginia, it is not a cheap place to live in Virginia.
Right.
And basically, it's about stuff like that, and also gun violence and all that. So
Very
basically,
cool.
like, yeah.
We
So
have one thing
basically,
that we have one thing that we're doing here down in New Orleans. The city of New Orleans is passing, and we're trying to get an ordinance passed that will require that 2% of the city of New Orleans operating budget be spent on helping with affordable housing to help people be able to either have affordable rentals or get into homes or whatever. So, so city of New Orleans we're stuck in the red state of Louisiana, but we're still trying to do
yeah.
things that are going to help people, which is a good thing to do. Maybe we can use a bunch of that money we got this weekend, because this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we had Taylor Swift in town, and apparently the Swifties spent a whole bunch more money than anybody anticipated. So it was a great weekend all around for everybody involved. With the exception, there is some potential hypocrisy with some restaurants that might close for other things, but stayed open for this. But we'll keep an eye on that as it happens in the next time Essence Festival rolls around here in the city. So what's going on with you, Khalil?
Nothing much. I'm also hoping that I can take an overnight trip. And if I go to Richmond again in March, it's going to be like for a convention, and I'm going to see some celebrities like Weird Al and people like that.
Oh, nice. Like a Comic-Con or what?
Something like a Comic-Con.
Cool. Yeah, Weird Al is coming next July here in concert. I just couldn't justify spending the money for the meet and greet, so I just got 4 tickets for me and my fam, and we'll check him out live in concert. So, but yeah, he's fun, and he's definitely really fun in concert. I'd love to be able to talk with him in person, but it is what it is. Oh, shout out to Orvillaby over in Twitch. Thank you for joining the show. Anything else you want to chat about?
You ever heard of let me see. You ever heard of the Bradley Manning trial?
Yes.
Yeah, I was there protesting, and they had even a state trooper that was there in the crowd protesting. And someone gave me a hand when I was at the Bradley Manning rally when it came, because I was real heavy at that time. They gave me a hand sitting down, and there was a few people there, but it was all peaceful. No one got out of line and did anything stupid or anything.
I will point out we should be calling her Chelsea Manning. So at the time, I think he was on trial for she still hadn't transitioned yet, but Chelsea Manning is a trans woman. So let's make sure to use the proper name. Let's not dead name Chelsea Manning. So no problem. I mean, just sometimes people don't know, so we're just trying to educate the masses, or at least the masses of people who listen to Liberal Den Radio, which may very well not need much education, because most of the people that watch and listen and everything are pretty bright people indeed. So, including yourself. So,
thank you.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your week. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon. And it was great talking to you again. And you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Khalil. Again, that was friend of the show, Khalil. Always enjoy hearing from him. Like to have. You can call the show as well. 914-803-4131. 914-803-4131. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, everyone's welcome. We even allowed Gibson Media to come on the show last week, even though he's technically banned. But I anticipated with my title of the show that I might have much more likelihood of conservatives calling in. But let me see if I got an email, because he sent me an email and he wasn't happy about something. But I want to see what he said about how I responded to him, because Brother Michael from across the pond. I don't see a response from Joseph yet, but Brother Michael from across the pond had made some claims about him being part of the group called Righteous Army, and Righteous Army claims that they want to be peaceful, except when they're not going to be peaceful. I haven't quite exactly figured out when the Righteous Army is okay with violence and is not okay with violence. but Joseph Gibson was quite upset with me and emailed over the fact that I didn't correct Brother Michael on that issue. Of course, I didn't know what Brother Michael said was true or false, so what would I know that there is to correct? But if Joseph Gibson wants to email me back and let me know that he has no affiliation with the Righteous Army, then he's more than welcome to do so, and I'm more than happy to announce that on the show, because I don't want, if he's going to claim no affiliation with the group, then fine. But there is other things that he's said and done on the show that has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, said on other chats that have rubbed the people the wrong way. So, as I said to him before, and I'll keep saying it again, if you're going to treat people in a certain negative light, that negativity is going to come back on you as well. So that's everybody. It's me, that's you, that anybody watching. If you put negativity out in the world, it's going to come back to you, probably multiple fold. So, all right. So anyway, I don't know at what point I got cut off in the conversation of Tony Hinchcliffe or whatever. But I guess we'll start over from scratch. I mean, I knew who he was from before the Tom Brady roast. I saw him in the Tom Brady roast. He was pretty good. He wasn't as good as Nikki Glaser. Nikki Glaser killed it. But he's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian, and he's one that doesn't hold back and says all sorts of stuff. And he's a roast comic. He will roast people, and that's, if you're at a roast, we can expect you to roast people, and that's fine. And at roast, people say horrible things in the name of humor, and whatever. If you don't like that type of stuff, then don't watch it. If you do like the type of stuff, then watch it. That's my opinion on that. I mean, I'm still not a big fan of people, punching down, so to speak. If you're gonna make a joke, make the joke to be funny. Make a funny comment. Don't make a cruel, mean comment and then try and get away with it, saying, "Oh, I was just joking," which is what he said and what he's done, pertaining to what he said at the Trump rally. People can't take a joke these days. No, it's not that people can't take a joke. Well, part of the audience, a good chunk of that audience at Madison Square Garden, it's not even a matter of them being able to take a joke. It's a matter of them being able to understand that what was being said was a joke. Because in reality, they're probably like, "Oh, he's right." Talking about the island of garbage in the Atlantic, saying that was Puerto Rico, talking about all sorts of other horrible things, like, whether or how is it that somebody on MSNBC worded today, the likening of the illegal immigration, or what they view as illegal immigration, to in unwillingness to take care of your own fertility, or prevent yourself from getting impregnated, so to speak. So yeah, lots of horrible things that people wouldn't even say live on television. And I don't even want to say some of the stuff that he said, just because it was over the top, ridiculously horrible. And of course, he's going to say, "I was just joking, just take a joke." No, you were at a political rally. Maybe you were there to warm up the crowd. I don't know, but you can warm up the crowd without, being mean-spirited and evil, especially when you know, or should know, that the people you're speaking to are already mean-spirited and evil, and are going to take your mean-spirited and evil comments in a way that's, perhaps you didn't intend it. I don't know. Perhaps you were just joking at somebody else's expense. But they're not going to understand that. They're going to applaud it. They're going to be like, "Yeah, that sounds great. That's exactly what we believe in." But even the Trump campaign is trying to walk it back. And this is coming from Donald Trump, who says never apologize for anything. And his campaign is even like, we don't endorse the ideas of the things that he said. Well, guess what? You allowed it. You vetted whatever it was that he said. You cut some of the jokes directly from the script. You took it off the teleprompter. So you already knew you could edit some of the stuff that he said, but the other stuff you left on, about people who are Hispanic not pulling out, etc. Like, you knew he was going to say it, and you let him say it. You didn't keep him from going up on stage. And the Donald Trump campaign has surrounded itself in bigotry, racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, all sorts of horrible things that Donald Trump and his campaign embrace. And yet you think that you're going to tell those jokes and you think it's going to be harmless? No, it's going to be harmful. And anyone with 2 working brain cells should be able to figure that out, but they can't. He apparently is all, oh, I'm upset about the fact that people want to complain about what I said at a political rally. Well, yes, because it's a political rally. We already have enough racism, bigotry, intolerance, anti-Semitism, etc. going on in this election. We don't need a stand-up comedian's help in order to make it worse. And then, of course, you have a whole bunch of Republicans coming out of the woodwork. Senator Scott from Florida. Other people are trying to come out and say, well, this is wrong. This is not representative of the GOP values. like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, back when she was like, that's just not the people that we are. Of course it is the people that you are. You've embraced the bigot in chief. You've embraced the individual who at a conference on anti-Semitism proactively blamed the Jewish people for his upcoming loss. Says if I lose, it's going to be the fault of the Jews. Donald Trump said this. I didn't hear anybody from, Senator Scott or anybody else sitting there saying, well, that's not really what we feel as a Republican, because it is. It is how y'all feel, because y'all support. And if y'all are going to claim that you don't support it, guess what? I don't believe you. Why do I not believe you? Simple as this. You're still voting for the guy, you're still supporting the guy who says racist, bigoted, anti-Semitic crap. You know how dangerous it is to preemptively blame Jews for your loss? I'm surprised there haven't been attacks on Jews already. I'm sure there will be if he runs. And I think I think there are other people who made similar type of comments at the rally. And I've heard, we're going to go over some of the comments, but these people are gross. They're disgusting. You're supporting a gross and disgusting human being in the form of Donald Trump. You can't then try and wiggle your way out of, oh, we don't tolerate bigotry. Yes, you do. You vote for it. You voted for it in 2016. You voted for it in 2020. You're voting for it again in 2024. Why would I believe you that you're against racism and bigotry and intolerance? You're embracing it wholeheartedly. Let's see. Is this Brother Michael?
Yes, sir.
How are you,
Dan,
Brother Michael? Apparently you pissed off old Joseph Gibson with your call the other day, Brother Michael. But oh well, he's pissed off a lot of people too, so I'm not worried about it.
All right. We have seen a lot of, last Saturday, Israel finally did the part 1 of their mission, attack Ayatollahs, and basically they made them point blank. That means all the radar systems went to the hell. All those S-300 and all of the ones that they have made, etc. Basically, right now, Islamic Republic of Ayatollahs, not Iran, because Iranian 90+%, they don't believe in them. They are just hate them so much. And actually, people very happy that Israel attacked Ayatollahs finally. And right now, the situation is all the military, most of military installations gone to the hell. And, all the radar systems, there were 3 waves of attack on Ayatollahs on Saturday. It started roughly about 2 a.m. Local time of Ayatollahs. And so basically, Israel has come to a decision to do the part 2 very soon. because that was only for the retaliation for the 200 missiles that they sent to Israel. But remember that basically Ayatollah's drones were sent to Lebanon, and from Lebanon they hit the house of the Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. So therefore, the Round 2 will be coming soon to Ayatollahs. But at the same time, Ayatollahs are decided to show another 200-300 missiles back to Israel. So that's why Israel said, before you do that, we are in the state of alert, and as soon as we know that you have intentions, we come and basically carpet bomb all those missiles that you want to send to us. And we will do the part 2 and part 3. This is just started, my friends. Dan, what do you think, sir?
Oh, I'm sure there's still. I mean, there's no way that the fact that they sent all the missiles over, and hit and tried to hit Israel and everything, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of them hit. But yeah, Israel was definitely going to respond to that. There's no way Israel wasn't going to respond to going after Netanyahu's personal residence. I mean, it's silly to think that he wouldn't. I mean, they talk about don't poke the bear. Well, don't poke Netanyahu neither, because he's going to do that. If the leader of the country, or a leader of a group that's doing an attack, leaders are always going to be, I guess, potentially valid targets. I don't know. I mean, they'll say they might try and label that as an assassination or whatever. But if Israel's going to go after the leaders of the group that they're going against, then it stands to reason that the Hezbollah and Hamas and Iran, who backs both of those groups and more, are going to do the same thing in turn, and whatever. But yeah, I agree with your analysis in the fact that we're going to see more, and unfortunately, even though Biden wants to see less escalation, I don't see any willingness on the part of either party to not want to escalate, because no one's going to want to be the one that gets hit last. So something is going to happen where either something major forces them to stop, or someone else is going to have to intervene and basically and put their foot down and say, no, you need to stop now. Of course, if Donald Trump gets in office and wins the presidency and becomes president in January, his way of putting his foot down would be just saying we're going to allow Israel to finish the job, be it in Gaza, be it in wherever, but not care about anybody else who gets damaged in the process, which is highly problematic. So
yes, I understand. And also, we found out that the Khamenei that is hidden in the bunkers, and they change their bunkers every day, and etc. But still, Khamenei is very ill, and he might die even very soon. If he dies, automatically head of the octopus is dead, and then there would be, I think, is a victory right there for all Iranians and for Israelis, so they can target other IRGC, and they have a lot of other targets that they need to do, and we welcome Israel to any attack, any response to Ayatollahs, and we saw that so precisely the attack was done that no Iranian civilian were hurt. Only 4 army officers were died as a result of one of the missile attacks in east of Tehran. But except that, everything else was super. Nobody was hurt. So even So we congratulate Israel, but we congratulate, that they now Ayatollahs are totally blindsided. No more anti-missile. They can hit any plane that enters into Ayatollah's aerospace, and even Saudi Arabia can go and hit some kind of event, and nobody can do anything about it because they have no missiles, they have no anti-missiles, anti-aircraft, because the radar, everything is gone to the hell, and we thank Israeli for that.
Of course, with Israel being able to attack with such precision over in Iran, it makes you be like, well, why didn't they use the same precision over in Gaza when going after the Hamas leadership to make sure that they would reduce the civilian casualties a lot, which is, I'm sure, going to get some play over the course of that. Well, first of all, shout out to Witchy Woman Kimchi for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Got 1 out of 5 down. Looking for 4 more. Anyway, but yeah. Although I did think of a terrible joke with it. If you had, like, everyone is in the bunkers. I don't know if those bunkers would have doorways or if they have arches. But if they don't have doorways, would that make it an archy bunker? Sorry.
No, they put a lot of missiles there, a lot of airplanes there, and for future use. But right now, actually, one of the installations that they hit, they're supposed to make the petroleum for the missiles, and so those installations are dead right now, so they cannot make anything. So whatever is left is either is in the bunkers, or basically they cannot do any damn things, anything, Ayatollah. And so bottom line is this will not be the end. This is the beginning of, that there is no beginning or ending to this issue right now. And regarding, you said that you wish that Israeli would hit more precisely Gaza or Beirut and at Lebanon. The problem is they forced the Palestinians to be their protectors. So in that situation,
Hamas definitely does use human shields.
You have no other choice.
Right. Well, Hamas does use human shields,
and that's the biggest problem.
And that needs. I'm very critical of the people who refuse to understand that Hamas is using human shields. Like, I'm always very critical of that. That being said, there's still no reason to drop big, large, dumb munitions when you have smart bombs that you can use. So that's one of my issues with Netanyahu on that. But Israel had every right and to go after Hamas for the attacks of 10/7. Israel had every right to go after Hezbollah for the attacks that they did in northern Israel, and Israel had every right to defend itself against Iran. And hopefully the actions against Iran will be a good thing, and maybe the actions against Iran, if you take off the head of the octopus, as you say, enough and beat them down enough, maybe they'll stop being able to support Hamas and Hezbollah in the first place. So there you go.
Absolutely, and I think he's very ill too. We got a report recently, just a couple of hours ago, that they said that he's very ill. And so if he's very ill, we hope he dies very soon, as soon as possible. So maybe other attacks on Iran would be stopped. And so, but bottom line, we are headed for a very critical elections in the United States of America. We have to pray for peace and love and unity, people. And regardless of the outcome, people have to restrain, themselves from any kind of, say riots or etc. because you destroying your own country, and then they have to come to rebuild it, and then the money would be issue, and then many times you destroy it and there is no building. So please, I ask everybody to be calm and love and unity, because we are American. We should not hate each other because of they divided us. We should know that and say, hey, we go vote, we pray, and whoever elected, let it be. If you don't like it, 4 more years, change that person. Am I right or wrong, my friend?
I would love to be able to have that optimism of thinking that people will do that. Unfortunately, when Trump loses, that there's I do not have any confidence that we won't see another January 6th or worse happen in this country, because he continues to lie and manipulate about what happened on 10/6. He continues to say about how the elections are rigged against him, when in reality it's his people trying to do the rigging in his benefit, because every Republican accusation is a confession. So, and we're going to be live here on Tuesday night, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday night, covering the results as long as possible. I don't know how long I'll be able to hang on Blog Talk Radio. Probably start the Blog Talk Radio stream once the results start coming in. So I might start Blog Talk Radio later, even though I'm still going to be probably starting once elections start rolling in from the East Coast. However, anyway, but again, I want to thank you, Brother Michael, for calling in today. Appreciate you. Anything else you want to say before we head on to other topics?
And we appreciate you, because yes, I understand what you say, and we hope everything at least meet each other. Everybody meet each other in halfway. That would be a better chance, I hope. But we again send our love to all Americans, and peace, love, unity is the only. Unity in diversity is the answer. Thank you very much, Dan.
Agreed, Brother Michael.
Buddy.
Have a great night. Or a great day, I should say.
You,
night for me, day for you.
Yes,
have a
sir.
good one. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Shalom. Bye-bye.
Shalom. Again, that's Brother Michael. Appreciate his calls as always. I guess Joe Gibson doesn't, but it is what it is, right? Hal is doing his 24-hour stream next Tuesday. Wow. I don't know if I could hang 24-hour. I mean, I did do a long stream on my first Twitch anniversary for Nerdy Dan. I did basically stay home and play games most of the day, but even that wasn't 24 hours. I think I hung around 12 hours or so with that one. So I have to work on Tuesday during the day, so but I'll start doing it at 8, and then or maybe even 7 my time, and go from there, and we'll be covering the results as they come in. And I'm sure we'll see some of the ones that we expect to go blue, and then we'll bite our fingernails and pull our hair out and hope for the best, I suppose. Let's see. Surrender Monkey Shields, you say, I just got told I was stupid for asking why porridge isn't used as a heat shield in NASA's space program, and was it hungry space monsters' fault? People are weird and very rude. Very rude. That's hilarious. Easy Network. Biden will make sure January 6th can't happen. Well, that's one of the things. Like Donald Trump at his rally at Madison Square Garden was talking. When I first heard it, I didn't know who he was talking to, but he was talking about Speaker Johnson, and he was talking about. Thank you, Ken Kubichek, for following me over on Twitch. He was basically saying that they have a surprise in the works to make sure that election day goes well, or beyond, or whatever, and he'll let us know what the secret is. Whatever the big secret is, he'll let us know at some point, I guess. Sounds like a coup to me. Sounds like another attempt at a GOP coup, but I don't believe that Donald Trump has any limits as to what he would do to try and regain power. So if it means coordinating with the Speaker of the House to to steal the election in his favor. Of course, he won't view it as stealing the election. He'll view it as him being the rightful, victor, because he thinks that, he still thinks that there is extra votes to be found in Georgia. So, anyway, let's head back through the chat a little bit and see what's going on. Again, thank you, Witchy Woman, for the super chat. Steve, TV2 Live, I just thought I sent that in my Scots accent. Means we're both smart enough to imagine what's happening sounds better in the original Scottish. TV2 Live is here. Good to see you, TV Live. Good to see Trucker John in the chat. Spitting truth bombs with the fact that Netanyahu is doing this as a conservative would. Again, not surprised. Hey, Steven Sayers. The floating garbage patch remark really pissed me off. There's a lot of comments that probably pissed a lot of people off. And with an election that's this close, why are you pissing off any group? But, Donald Trump doesn't believe he has to pander to anybody. He just needs to basically just get out there and just say everything's going to be stolen from him, and it's going to be stolen from him. So, there you go. Oh, there's something else I wanted to talk about, and it was in my head when Michael was on the phone, but I should have written it down because it just left my mind. Yeah, one flew over the cuckoo nest. Yes, definitely. Hopefully it flies over the coup and we miss another coup attempt. But we got Chad in the chat. I'll be getting super stoned and cracking beers come election night. It's going to be an interesting evening for sure. I don't know if I want to get stoned. Maybe I'll have a little bit to drink. Who knows? We need countries to fear again the possibility of a boot in the ass from America when atrocities are committed. I don't know why they wouldn't. We still have the biggest military in the world, the toughest, the strongest military in the world. Nobody wants to get their ass handed to them by the United States military, and that's what the United States military can and will do if need be. Problem is, with Israel, Israel is an ally, so it's kind of hard to use the threat of violence against our allies. So, Chad Bostic. Chat always encourages when Impeccable is in here going on and on about his grinder hookups. Well, because, we all need a little break sometime, right? It brings a little levity into the chat when Impeccable Living talks about his hookups, I suppose. Alton Gillespie in the chat. Good to see you. So the big guy will smash the wall and they can flee. Liberal Dan, Nerd Halen show in Dallas on New Year's Eve. We will see if we can do that. I was hoping to be able to get to see Nerd Halen when I was going to come up to Dallas the last time, but I got COVID and then Hal canceled anyway. So let's see, MJ Daniel, you have to expect some kind of dirty and maybe illegal crap from the GOP. Wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. TV, just in case you didn't see or see it, Michael, on the YouTube chat, TV2 Live says peace and love to you, Michael. Is that to Michael, Brother Michael on the phone, or is it somebody else? I'm assuming it's Brother Michael on the phone. So, Dodgers up 3-0 in the fifth. Thank you for that. I'm definitely rooting for the Dodgers. I am an Orioles fan, which means I will root for anybody against the Yankees. So, what day do your clocks go back in U.S.? Because right now you're an hour earlier than usual. I guess, yeah, we did. United States did change or shift when fall back happens. We fall back this upcoming Saturday night, Sunday morning. That's when we fall back, which is good because I have a very busy weekend this upcoming weekend of lots of nerdy stuff to do. So, but yeah, we've in the states that do daylight savings time, it got shifted like a week later. It's supposed to be this week. It's next week for us. And then I think we also do it a week earlier in the spring. We should just get rid of daylight savings time altogether. It's just stupid. We don't need it at this point. But, they still want it. People don't like change. So I love New York, so Yankees for me. Well, that's fine for you. As long as you're not Jeffrey Mayer, we're not going to have words. I'm friends with Yankees fans. So, but yeah, but thank you, Robin, for being a wild animal for 4 months. Uh, Again, you know, Baltimore fans are always going to be salty about the whole Jeffrey Mayer incident. If you look up Jeffrey Mayer Orioles playoffs on YouTube, you'll definitely find uh, why we're pissed off at him in particular. Little 13-year-old punk at the time caught a ball and brought it into the stands. It was ruled a home run when it shouldn't have been. It should have been ruled fan interference. Unfortunately, the umpire was blind. So, baseball is the reason nobody takes interest in politics. They invented a sport they can be bored and drunk at, like being at a government meeting passing laws section. I enjoy baseball though. I mean, I could enjoy a pitcher's duel. Like when somebody's like pitching and they're doing an amazing job, I can appreciate that. I also love the good long ball. I mean, like, just to go back to game one for a second, when he hit, it was, I mean, bottom of the 10th, down by 1 run, 2 outs, bases loaded. First ever in the history of the World Series, a grand slam, a walk-off grand slam. Now, you haven't had walk-off home runs. You actually had one walk-off home run by Kirk Gibson, who was injured, and they sent him up to go face against Dennis Eckersley back when the Dodgers previously won the World Series, and he did get a walk-off home run off Eckersley, which is also really freaking impressive because Eckersley was an ace as a closer. But, to see him just get up there, battle Eckersley, and then hit the ball out of the yard and just hobble around the bases as he's doing his little arm pump thing is an amazing clip to watch. If you like watching, clutch hits, but just the feeling it must be, like, especially for, game one this year, where just when to just swing the bat and the ball goes out and you just know the ball's gone, and you just stop. He held his bat up. I'm frankly surprised the Dodgers didn't pitch at him in the next game. Of course, I guess they probably figured we don't want to give them any more help than they already have. They don't need any more help. We don't want to give them additional base runner. But sometimes that level of showing off, of just stopping and staring at the ball and then doing whatever it is it did with the bat, is often seen as bad form by hitters. But look, if you freaking hit the ball, smash it out of the yard, and get a game-winning home run, by all means, take your time and take your bow and live in the moment, especially if it's winning a World Series game. Because holy crap, why wouldn't you want to just absorb every moment of that? So, see, I've watched people sitting down in their house watching TV and didn't get as bored as the one and only game I ever watched of baseball. Maybe there are some games that aren't that exciting, granted, but again, you kind of have to want to watch, enjoy all the aspects of it: the pitching, the fielding, the hitting, everything. Just, it all. Again, I grew up in Baltimore, so I'm an Orioles fan, so therefore, I'm gonna appreciate it. That was the only sport I had for a good bit. Like, I remember coming down here my freshman year of college, and we'd be watching football. And I've watched football before, but we didn't have a football team. The only thing I remember about the Baltimore Colts is them leaving. So we're sitting there, I'm watching football games, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and they'll call like a false start penalty or an offsides penalty, and I'm looking at there and I'll be like, how do they know? How can they see that that's a false start or an offsides? Like, I just was so clueless as that. And now I'm sitting at the TV and I'm like, that was false start. Like, so now I know how they know. But see, Surrender Monkey, I was drunk before they even finished introducing the team. I was in Barbados and I'm a heavy drinker. Fair enough. So, and Trucker John, in Vegas, you're getting a team. Are you getting the A's too as well? Because you got the Raiders, and now you're going to get the Oakland A's. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly? Or do you have other teams that you support because you were there before the other teams got there? See, Steve, I remember the USA talking about getting rid of it through Congress not that long ago. I guess it's never going to happen. Yeah, I mean, people just don't want to get rid of their traditions, I suppose. Sports are excellent for naps. Hilarious. All right, so let's get back to the topic at hand, which is Donald Trump and his horrible speakers at his Madison Square Garden little thing. Boo, 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 boo. Trying to see. Trump's childhood friend David Rem called Harris the Antichrist. Former wrestler Hulk Hogan used a crude gesture while insinuating that Harris slept her way to the top. Tony Hinchcliffe said there's a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. It's called Puerto Rico. Other speakers talk about effing illegals and called Hillary Clinton a sick son of a bitch. Trump told the crowd that the U.S. is now an occupied country. Again, described Democrats as the enemy from within, exaggerated claims about a, quote, savage Venezuelan gang in the Denver suburb of Aurora, Colorado. Again, this is somebody who runs on hatred and bigotry and lies about the hatred and bigotry because he wants to rile up his racist base. He has a racist base that he needs to play up to because he wants to get them out because he's hoping that they'll get his numbers up. And apparently, for some reason, this election, some Republicans have figured out that, hey, voting early is a reasonable thing to do, so why don't we do it as well? Thank you, Cynthia from Texas, for Super Chat number one for you, number 2 in the chat. Appreciate you. See, Roxanne, I almost always had a thing for Sandy Koufax, fellow Jewish person as well. See, hedge enemy. What did you say? Wait, I missed. I think, did I miss your first comment? Or no? I don't know. You just said hedge enemy. Yeah, Sandy Koufax is one of the GOATs. I don't. It's kind of hard for me to say who the GOAT is in any professional sport because there's so, like, people might, be willing to say Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And some people argue that it's Kobe. Some people argue that it's LeBron. But, I kind of have a hard time doing that because people play different positions. Would Michael Jordan have been the GOAT if he would have played center? No, because he's not tall enough. But other people might be the GOAT at center versus Jordan might be the GOAT as a shooting guard, small forward. LeBron James could very well be the GOAT as power forward. I think it's more meaningful to talk about who is on your best all-time team or whatever, which to try and show all of the support. Like, would you want Sandy Koufax pitching for your team? Absolutely. You might also want Babe Ruth pitching for your team. You might want Shohei Ohtani pitching for your team. Shohei Ohtani is trying to cement himself into GOAT status. See, Cynthia, first time for me ever to anyone. I'm a Facebook sparkler. I don't do them much on YouTube. I appreciate you still, Cynthia. Thank you so much for that. Took you 10 minutes. Sometimes the super chats, especially the milestone chats, give me fits. Like, the YouTube doesn't let me like to let me do it on a browser. I have to do it on my phone. Like, I've learned that. Like, I've tried watching on my browser and trying to do my milestone chat on my browser, and it won't work. But if I do it on my phone, it works, which is freaking weird. Anyway, phone number, let's see, it's 905. The phone number's not 905, but it is 905, so let's go ahead and do a show break. 914-803-4131 is the phone number, 914-803-4131 if you want to talk. We have, you can make sure to subscribe to the channel, super chat, super stickers, become a liberal Danimal, little as $2 a month. Hey, Surrender Monkey. How much will it cost you to say you admire Trump's mustache? Depends on what Trump's mustache is. Does he even have one? If you said you Trump's beard, that might be talking about Melania. So, but thank you very much, Surrender Monkey. Appreciate you. Is it pounds sterling? But it is a good yellow color. Appreciate it. Couldn't get a message, which you would have been appreciated. Thank you so much. Again, I try and trying to do the best show I possibly can. I've been exhausted these past like week and a half, like absolutely exhausted, and I didn't get to take any sort of nap today either. In the morning after I dropped my kid off at school, I was gonna be like, all right, let me go back to sleep for about an hour before I start working, and then my dog started barking downstairs. And my wife had a meeting, so I couldn't have her go down and let the dog out. So I had to let the dog out. So that just had me up already. And then I was going to try and take a nap in the late afternoon, early evening. Might have even skipped dinner if I had to, and then start the show. But again, nobody wanted to let me sleep there either. So it is what it is, but it's the Zepbound. Apparently the Zepbound, which is a new prescription that I'm on, which finally got on the damn prescription. I talked about that last week, but it apparently has a side effect of causing you to be exhausted. And so it's what I am. I've been exhausted. So I haven't had the time to work on some of the videos that I would have liked to work on, for the coming up to the end of the election. And of course, this weekend, I'm very, very busy, so I don't know what I'm going to be able to work on, if I'm going to be able to work on anything. So it is what it is. So, let's see. Again, if you have Discord and haven't done Nitro yet, and you want to try it, one of the best things you can do is you can go to my live stream over on Liberal Dan Radio on Twitch, twitch.tv/Liberal Dan Radio. Gifting or buying yourself a 1 month of membership will get you a drop. It takes a couple days to show up, but it'll get you a drop of 3 free months of Discord Nitro on top of the just included in the cost of the $7.99 for the 1 month of the subscription. So if y'all do that, it helps me, gets you something for free that you would normally have to pay for if you wanted it. I actually hadn't tried Discord Nitro because I didn't want to pay just to see how it works. And then, well, now that I have the chance to get it for free, I'll be able to test it out and see how awesome it is and see if I want to continue using it. A lot of people like it. A lot of people utilize the tools that come with it. So I have a feeling I'll probably continue with it after the 3 months. But if you don't get the opportunity to do it today on Twitch, you can do it on Wednesday as well, but you can also go to the Nerdy Dance stream on Tuesday and do it there too, because it's available on both the streams. So Josh, still want to see Trucker John and Dan pair up for a weekly spot. Trucker John, Dodgers now lead 4-0 in the 6th. That is excellent. But let's see. Michael McAndrews, I just watched our Tigers fail. Like LSU Tigers you talking about, Michael? Or something else? I would be more than happy to do a dual show with Trucker John. It's just a matter of when he's free and when I'm free. I mean, if he wants to come on, you're more than welcome to come on live with me, or we can set up another day, etc., etc. So, but yeah, it would be fun to do. I would have a great time. I would have a great time doing it. I'm sure it would be a great show. But whenever you want to come on, John, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll set up I do have the video chat thing bookmarked, so I know how to actually do that now. So I'll make sure to we can get a video chat going if you wish. So Trucker John, Liberal Dan, Superpower Hour. That's what we could do. The TJ and LD Superpower Hour. Let's see. Robin just sent you a super chat. It didn't go through here. Why is that? I don't know. Wait, no. Was it a second one? Because I mean, no. You bought the subscription, Robin. You got the subscription. Sometimes I have problems with the super chat. What I would recommend is maybe if you're doing it on a browser or if you're doing it on the phone, either shut down the phone and reopen it, or you can. Or close the browser and reopen it. That might help getting that done as well. So, but yeah, sometimes YouTube isn't perfect when it comes to that. Again, with the milestone chats, I can't send the milestone chat. If you're trying to send a milestone super chat, hey Michael, thank you for the $10. Appreciate you as well. Super great, awesome. Appreciate it so much. That's a great thing to do. I don't think it'll charge you the $5 if it doesn't go through. Did you do it on your browser or do it on your phone? Because sometimes when I do it on my browser, it gives me fits. If I do it on my phone, it's easier. But I don't know. That's usually with the milestone chats and not with the $5 ones. But I don't know. We'll see. If for some reason, who did it go to then? I don't know. Check the receipt of when it happens, and we can try and make sure that it. I'll look into my end to see if I see anything after the show. But you might want to say, hey, you might also contact YouTube support and be like, hey, I sent the super chat to Libertarian Radio and it didn't show up on the stream, which I would hope. PC browser. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Technology, as good as technology is, sometimes it can still suck. Like I can't send my milestone chats via the browser to any of the ones that I pay for the monthly memberships to, for Hal, for Dude, etc. So I'm sophisticated. I do it on my couch. Oh my. Oh wait, it's not impeccable living talking. Michael, I'm on an i7. I can have many chats and podcasts going many screens, although I only really watch one at a time. I mean, it makes sense. Typically, sometimes I'll watch two things at a time if I'm kind of half listening to the political one while watching another YouTube video. But typically, again, I'm watching one thing at a time. We must protect our sofas. We need to be sofa kings. Sofa king good. I gave up on Venmo a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, I still kind of use it sometimes, but it doesn't. I don't get a lot of stuff from it. A lot of times it's like I'll use it when I'm like someone's buying a card off of being like from the card games that I play, and we're there, I'm like, hey, I need this card. Okay, here you go. There you go. Take the card. Take the card. Buy for me. Venmo. Boom. There you go. Done. So, anywho. Let's go on and continue looking at some of these things from Trump's Madison Square Garden event, just to continue talking about, because there are other ones that one article didn't miss. Some of the people might want to. I was using Venmo a lot back when I was bringing my cookies to the to my wife's gluten-free thing she was putting on, because my wife has celiac disease and she was putting up gluten-free, like a gluten-free market, so that everybody who's a vendor can come to this market at the cider place we go to and sell their goods to other people, basically letting gluten-free people know, hey, this is a place where you can come and you can get everything, and it'll be safe for you to eat. And since we don't cook anything with loose flour in our kitchen, I will make chocolate chip cookies, and I've sold them there as well. So Aaron, what is a butterfly cut? For a second I was like, butterfly cut my hair, and vice versa. I thought butterfly cut was talking about a steak. I know what a butterfly cut on a steak is, when you cut it halfway in the middle so that it'll cook quicker. I'm assuming maybe a butterfly cut would be this way, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not that big on her. All right, so let's see. AP article. Let's see. Speakers at the rally labeled Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage, called Vice President Kamala Harris the devil, said the woman vying to become the first woman in black president had begun her career as a prostitute. Tony Hinchcliffe, they quote Tony Hinchcliffe with then. Tony Hinchcliffe apparently also made comments about Jewish people and black people as well. His joke was immediately criticized by the Harris campaign as it competes with Trump to win over Puerto Rican communities in Pennsylvania and other swing states. Puerto Rican music superstar Bad Bunny backed Harris shortly after Hinchcliffe's appearance. Bad Bunny, by the way, was very shockingly good as a professional wrestler. He comes out and he starts like he's I'm going to wrestle in this match. And I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. This will be this other wrestler carrying him. And then he started doing off-the-wall crazy stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why is he so good? Like, there was even one point where my jaw dropped because he did a move that a lot of people don't do. So, good night, Kimchi. Thank you so much, again, for being in the show. Appreciate you. Let's Let's see. I'm looking at this thing about the Trump rallies and I got an ad for Harris funds. Other speakers made incendiary comments. Harris is the Antichrist and devil. David Rem said that. Businessman Grant Cardone told the crowd that Harris and her pimp handlers will destroy our country. Dr. Phil was on there. Tucker Carlson. Speaker Johnson. Byron Daniels. Elise Stefanik. And an artist who painted a picture of Trump hugging the Empire State Building, probably grabbing the Statue of Liberty by the hoo-ha as well. That was before Trump came on the stage, running more than 2 hours late after being introduced by his wife, by Melania. The former president began asking the same questions he's asked at the start of every rally. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I am. I'm better off than I was 4 years ago. And if we were really great off 4 years ago, we wouldn't have gotten rid of you. The country would have voted for, I mean, I wouldn't have voted for you, but the country would have voted for you as president if they thought you did a great, stellar job as president, especially during the pandemic, but you didn't do a great job during the pandemic. You screwed things up. And one of the things that I guess I should talk about before I forget this part is I'm in several Facebook groups that shockingly support Vice President Harris for president. I know, shocked. I know you're all surprised at this. I hope you were sitting down when I gave you that revelation. But in one of those groups, like, there was a thread, and I had to educate the people. Like, there are a lot of people making the comments, presidents can't set gas prices. I was like, they might not be able to set gas prices, but they absolutely can impact or have an effect on gasoline prices, especially when you're Donald Trump and when the oil prices are tanking and you make a deal with Putin and the Saudis and OPEC to artificially restrict the output of gasoline or oil production by millions of barrels a day, and then make no caveats for when we were going to I'll start going back to work, thus causing the demand to go up for gasoline. And thus, we have to pay out the nose. We had to pay out the nose for gasoline in those first couple of years of the Biden administration, all because of what Donald Trump negotiated, what Donald Trump did. And I was getting so much kickback on that. Like, people were just fighting back at me. Oh, presidents can't set gasoline prices. Like, yes, they can. This is why. Look it up. If this group doesn't like you to share links. So I'm like, search for this. Search for Trump, OPEC, Russia, oil, April 2020. Like, search that. And you'll find plenty of articles. And they found the articles, and they said, oh, here you go. You were right. I learned something new today. Why did they have to learn this thing from me? That's my question. Why did they have to learn this thing from me? Why isn't the news media covering this thing? Why, when anybody talks about gas prices, the first thing I bring up is Trump's horrible negotiated deal with Russia and OPEC. That's the first thing I bring up. No question, just done. It's an automatic response. Why isn't MSNBC talking about this issue? Why isn't CNN talking about this issue? Why aren't the other major news networks explaining the fact that Donald Trump specifically negotiated a deal that sucked for us and made us have to pay a whole bunch more money at the pumps for gasoline? Instead, they either let Donald Trump skate by not bringing it up, or they'll just make the comment that presidents can't set gas policies in trying to defend Biden. But no, yeah, presidents can't set the price of gasoline. Like, they can't say, oh, gasoline's going to be $2.50 a gallon at this point. They can't do that. Now, what they can do is, I don't know why that's going again. Stop it. What they can do is they could, maybe try and convince Congress to, like, change the taxes that we pay on gasoline, but that could affect the price of gas. But that's not what happened here. What happened here is him manipulating the market. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump, after manipulating the market by making this horrible deal, I wouldn't be surprised if he invested in oil futures to make himself bank, because he had to have known that, or somebody had to have known that the price was going to go up because demand is going to go up. So if you artificially reduce supply, you get higher gas prices, higher oil prices. So if you invest in oil, you buy low, sell high, and then you artificially adjust the market so that the high becomes artificially higher. You then make more money than you should have. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And if it didn't happen, he's even a bigger dumbass than I thought. So, Josh, simple news media is business, not news. True, but and that's what we talked about a lot last week. Why more people need to listen to and watch Hal, myself, my dude, Ojeda, Boston Brian, etc. Why the Trucker John? We bring facts and we don't hold back the facts. These news companies, like you had what's your face on MSNBC. I was I criticized her a while ago because she didn't know about the manosphere. She had no idea about the manosphere. What is the manosphere and how Donald Trump is trying to target the I've been fighting the manosphere for years. That's why I have my Unraveling Toxic Masculinity videos, which will start back up again once the election's over. I don't feel like we should be doing it now because we have to unravel the fascist dictatorships attempt, the fascist dictators attempt to retake control of this country. Once we deal with that, then we can unravel toxic masculinity again. So hey, Teresa, good to see you. It was not Nicole Wallace. Oh, but she also had an interview, and it pissed my wife off. My wife saw it. I didn't see it. I had to go look it up. It wasn't Nicole Wallace. It was, might be on my YouTube history. Let me pop that up real quick, because I know in my history it'll show past things that I've watched, and it should be relatively recent. It's taking forever to load. You. History. All right. There's that stupid thing. There's that stupid thing. Blah blah blah. Is it? Who is it? Let's turn off the sound a second so I can open this up without having to worry about the sound playing and me getting whatever. Let's see. No, that's not it. It's not showing, at least it's not showing what the name of the host is. Maybe this will show the name of the host. Alex Wagner is the one who didn't know about the manosphere. Yes, Don O'Leary actually got to it before I said it, but yes, it was Alex Wagner who didn't know about the manosphere. It's also Alex Wagner who went ahead and did an interview of a bunch of conservative black women who were all voting for Trump. And she just was trying to ask their opinions, but she wasn't pushing back on any of the things that they said. Like, she wasn't doing any fact-checking of what they said. And so basically, she was allowing them to spread their bullshit over her airwaves. And while it's fine to do an interview with people, but you gotta push back when they start pushing the bullshit. And they push the bullshit. So, though Andrea Kramer's bad too, but Andrea Kramer wasn't the guilty party in this one. See, Dumpy in his Pecker Pal says, what about the media? What? Let's see what did Josh say? Let's scroll back up and try and see what the mainstream media would skew the weather report if it made them $1. Yeah, Trump tried to do it with his marker, with his Sharpie. Hey, Kevin Sean, good evening here in South Carolina. I have to explain to all my friends who are not politically engaged that the president can only do so much if they don't get support from Congress. Absolutely, Kevin. You were 100% on point with that. And I've made that point. And one of the things I talked about in the last show was simply that, one of the things that is good about Vice President Harris is that she words the things in the way that doesn't drive me crazy. Like when politicians are like, when like Barack Obama, other people have gotten him to like, if I'm president, I'm going to do this. Are you now? Are you going to do that? You can't do it by yourself. You need Congress to pass it for you. So then when they say, I promise you that I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it, then you look like a, quote, liar. Now, they weren't lying because they really felt that they could do it. But again, it's still horrible way to word things. Whereas Vice President Harris has been saying, if you give me a Congress that will pass this stuff, and if Congress passes the legislation, like, for example, to codify Roe, or to implement the border bill that Trump blocked, or what have you, if you send me that Congress to pass those bills and then pass those bills, I'll sign them into law. So she's not committing to making them the law. She's committing to signing them into law if you give her the Congress to do it, which is, automatically puts her brain-wise above most politicians. Like Donald Trump's, I'm going to make overtime tax-free. How are you going to do that? Is Congress going to do that for you? Really? I don't think so. You're not going to be able to do it by yourself. It can't be done by yourself, unless, But again, I've already said that the reason Donald Trump's going to be a de facto dictator if he wins is because if Donald Trump wins the presidency, he's more than likely going to have the House, he's more than likely going to have the Senate, and he has the Supreme Court in his back pocket. So basically, if they're going to let him do whatever he wants to do, then he's a de facto dictator, even if it's not in name, it's in practice. So Harris learned her, hey, Lizard King, good to see you. Lizard King and I both said the same comments at the same time about the kidney over on Hell Show. Easy E, he will end over. Well, he'll end over. He's not going to tax overtime because overtime won't be earned because Project 2025 says that they want to change how overtime is calculated, so therefore people can work people like dogs for 80 hours in a week and not have to pay them overtime if they don't come in the next week. So see, Michael Andrews, wait, nobody is legally contracted to do illegal and immoral things. It's a farce. Do the right thing. True. I don't know where that came from. You talk about jobs. The corporate media has a fiduciary responsibility to their investors, so they are legally obligated to act like asses and sell ad spots. Well, is that a fiduciary responsibility? I think a fiduciary responsibility would be if you're a publicly held corporation, you want to be able to generate enough ad revenue, but the idea that them not pushing back on voters who happen to be black women who are voting for Trump, I'm sure that there are plenty of people who be like, yes, thank you MSNBC for standing up for this right thing. We're going to watch you more often now. Or the whole thing on, presidents can't set oil prices. Well, no, they can't say this is what the oil price is going to be, but they can set policies that affect the oil price of oil. And people need to understand this, and they don't, because the media does a piss poor job. Maybe if MSNBC did a better job of explaining why these things are such BS, maybe, just maybe, we'd have a better situation, and then we get more viewers because more people would be excited to watch MSNBC because we'll be watching them fighting. Like I had to turn MSNBC off today because I was just tired of hearing the same old stuff for the hours and hours on end, and having it be like me having to sit there and look at the TV and be like, well, why didn't you bring up this and this and this when you could have, and it would have educated your audience much more. So. Kim and Sean, that comedian was not funny last night. The ladies on The View broke it down. Everyone go watch today's episode. It was epic. Well, yeah, no, he wasn't. He can be a funny stand-up comedian, but that wasn't funny that night because he's at a political rally talking about racist and bigoted stuff that the people who are listening and watching him perform live, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we like what you're saying. We're not laughing. We're not enjoying what you're saying because we think it's funny. They're enjoying what he was saying because they think it's true, and he's backing up their racist and bigoted ideas. And if he's stupid enough to not understand that it's how dangerous it is to say that kind of crap in front of a Trump rally because of all the people it's gonna get riled up and have them then go off and continue on with their bigoted, racist, anti-Semitic stuff, then again I'm surprised he can put his pants on in the morning. So Dean Baker, 16 hours per day, 5 days a week. Well, that's what Project 2025 wants. Instead of having it be a 40 hours in one day, they want it to be over 80 hours in 2 weeks, or even over 160 in a month. They want businesses to have that leeway to be able to do that. But when you don't have equality when it comes to the power that you have over your job, you don't have the ability to fight back and say no, which is why we need unions, because unions protect workers to basically give them a bigger bargaining chip at the table so they can fight back against the corporations who pay the salaries. But yeah, if Donald Trump, I want to make it so that overtime is tax free. Well, too bad, because you're going to work 80 hours in a week and be wondering why I didn't get my tax free income and why I didn't get my time and a half. Project 2025 will say, nope, we don't want you to get your time and a half for 80 hours in a week, because we're now calculating it 80 hours in 2 weeks or 160 hours in 4 weeks. So they could do things like work you Black Friday week, like the week before, week after Black Friday, whatever the busiest type of schedule is, or they can work you the 2 weeks working up to Black Friday, 160 hours, 80 hours both weeks, and then say, okay, well, you're not working the next 2 weeks, and then we don't have to pay you overtime. So not only are you not getting that work time not untaxed, you're not getting time and a half for it either. It's some bullshit. But these people are going to fall for it, be like, oh, they'll either fall for it because they don't understand what Project 2025 wants to do, and Agenda 47 is just Project 2025 for dummies. So they don't understand that, and they don't understand how Project 2025's plan to eliminate overtime or change overtime is calculated will make it so that they can be worked more and then not have to get paid. So not only are they going to miss out on, if they work 80 hours in a week, not only are they going to miss out on tax-free income for that week, they're going to miss out on time and a half on the extra 40 hours. So when you work 40 hours or 80 hours in a week, you should get paid as if you worked 100. That's what time and a half requires. But no, they'll work you 80 hours a week and you only get paid for 80 hours. So 160 hours over the course of 4 weeks. So 80 hours would be, you could work 80 hours in 2 weeks. You could work 160, 80 hours in 1 week. You could work 160 hours in 2, as long as they don't also work you more. So if they set it at 160 hours per 4 week time period, they could work you as much as they wanted over whatever course of time to make up that 160 hours. And normally that amount of money, if you worked over 40 hours in a week, you get time and a half for that. But that's not going to be the case if Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation gets their way. So ECE Network, they want salary that way. No, they don't want salary. They want to be able to work hourly employees to the bone and then be able to say, okay, you don't have to come into work next week because next week's going to be slow. They're going to work your asses off like dogs in the busy times, then make you sit at home and not work for the other time. You'll get paid less money for those weeks than what you would have gotten paid, and none of it's going to be tax-free. Aaron, you can be paid salary and also get OT. It depends on, I don't think it's a requirement on federal law if you work salary to get overtime. But I did work for one place that would not let us work more than 40 hours in a week because it was their company policy, if you worked over 40 hours in a week, that you would get time and a half. So yes, companies can offer you time and a half, or some other version, like they might give you comp time for working overtime, more hours than 40 in a week, but they're not required to. Like there's been weeks where I've worked over 40 hours for my current employer. I don't get any extra time for it, but I'm also getting paid a better wage. So yeah, Dean Baker, of course. And yes, it'll be mandatory hours because, again, many of these positions, you don't have a say in what your schedule is. They don't even. I once was working hourly at a hospital, and I gave them 4 months notice that I was going to be on vacation, and they weren't going to give it to me unless I trained somebody else to do my job. Which is like, I'm not a manager. It's not my job to train people to do my job. It's my job. It's your job to train other people to do my job if you need people to step in for me, or you need to do my job for me. And I've worked, and one of the things that pissed me off about that boss, that former boss, because she left after a while and I continued working there, but I worked every Christmas, every Thanksgiving for years, allowing other people to get off. But the one Thanksgiving I want off, I can't get off? No, F that. I was going to be calling in sick, because I wanted to go to Disney World back when it was cheaper. Concerner Monkey, I'm a big fan of less days at work if you can fulfill your contract. I proved it by hiding my workload on Thursday, taking a super long weekend, and catching up at work on 1 a.m. Sunday morning. I mean, again, well, if your salary, again, if you only work 30 hours one week and then you work 50 hours the next week because that's what the job requires of you, then that's fine. That can happen. But a lot of some employers aren't as good about that as some will still sit there and be like, you have to work 80 hours in a week or 40 hours in a week. Like, I'm salaried. I'm supposed to, the most important thing is I get my job done. If I get the job done, why are you complaining? So they could theoretically cut one shift of workers and work 2 shifts without overtime doing it. Yep. Pretty much, especially in the busy seasons, like when it comes time for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all the times where you have the super hyper busy times of the season. They could work it so that they work you just as taskmasters, and then you don't get the benefit of the overtime, and that's what, and you can't say no because they'll just fire you and hire somebody else. Because there's always going to be people who are going to need the work and need to do the work. That's why one of the reasons I support universal basic income is because it will give people the ability to basically say, no, now I have some power. Now I have power because I don't have to take your crappy ass offer, your crappy ass hours, and your crappy ass pay. So now you have to pay me a livable wage so that I can, allow me to work the hours that I can work in order to make sure that, I'm taking care of my family's needs above and beyond working. So Josh, it looks like shareholders can sue the corporation if they aren't maximizing profits. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Let's see. Well, we can look that up real quick. See what the Google search says. While shareholders can technically sue a company for not maximizing profits, it is extremely difficult to be successful due to the business judgment rule, which generally protects directors from lawsuits when making decisions that are considered reasonable, even if they don't maximize profits, meaning the courts are unlikely to second-guess management decisions unless there is clear evidence of mismanagement, self-dealing, and gross negligence. There you go. Aaron, yes, I'm salaried. I get overtime if I work over 40 hours. There you go. I wish we had a union here in South Carolina. I worked for Velux America, making skylight windows. Worked there 3 years for a temporary agency contract. Never got hired perm. Only making $9.50 an hour. That's criminal. It should be considered criminal. I mean, only making less than $10 an hour these days, or any time in the recent past, should be criminal too. See, I was doing 300 windows a day, and the guy beside me made 20 an hour. Just not fair. Nope, not at all. That's why you need unions. Exactly. That's why you need unions. You need to have unions to be able to fight for and protect labor interests. So people who say, "Oh, we don't need unions anymore," it's stupid. It's the people who say we don't need any unions anymore just trying to convince you to vote against your best interests, because we absolutely do need unions. Just like, oh, we have employee protections now. Oh, well, we've been protected by the Mississippi River flooding New Orleans for a long time now. Does this mean we don't need the levee system? No, we clearly need a levee system, because the levee system is what protects us from the flooding. Just like the unions are what protect us from businesses trying to screw labor over. So See, cutting 1/3 of your workforce and not paying overtime is maximizing. Yep, pretty much. There are some schools down here I knew of that would pay people salary specifically to avoid having to pay overtime, which is also should be criminal. But again, what are you going to do criminally on a school? You can't put the school in prison. And then if it's incorporated, which most schools are, you're going to shield the directors and everybody for those things anyway. So that happens. Trucker John, don't be late. Take your time. Hurry up. The time is yours. Don't be late. Let's see. Steve, Aaron Westford, the Siam, I only asked to see if anyone knows if P25 gets rid of those laws or if it's the same 40-hour rule, but no one gets overtime. You guys know I'm on your side. Just that. Project 2025 gets rid of or changes the rules. Again, I don't think there's a set number where they're at right now. It's like they either want to allow companies to do it like, again, 80 over 2 weeks or 160 over 4 instead of 40 in 1. So it's still using that 40 number rule, but again, they're trying to make it so that you can work 60 hours in a week or 80 hours in a week and have it be, oh, well, you didn't work last week, so this is a 2-week period, so therefore, oh, you're not making overtime anymore. But again, Donald Trump doesn't expect that people are going to look this up who are his supporters. His supporters are going to be like, oh, okay. And then believe the lie that he, has nothing to do with Project 2025, even though Project 2025 and Agenda 47 are pretty much the damn near same thing, and we've covered that already. Yeah, or make them work all the hours in 2 weeks, pretty much. And then, sure, you get the next 2 weeks off because we don't want to pay you overtime, but still, you're now exhausted and can enjoy those 2 weeks off, and you're not getting the overtime that you would have gotten paid earlier. So, after that, right off. So thank God I was able to go back to school at 45, my degree in criminal justice. I'm now working at the DJJ. The job is okay, but I do have a great benefit and retirement package. That's awesome. Well, at least you got that, right? So let's see. It's 9:43. Oh, yeah. Bottom line, greed is the word of the year. No, greed is the word of the decade. Greed keeps people from getting paid fair wages. Greed enables companies to, do as little, if not anything, that they need to do to be safe. Like, for example, greed caused the oil spill in the Gulf. Greed causes accidents to happen that are avoidable. Greed causes a lot of problems in this country, and we're not gonna solve the problem by electing King Greedus himself, Donald Trump, who used all sorts of laws and etc. to try and circumvent the rules and try and get around having to pay the debts. Because if he can avoid paying you money, he will, because that's what Donald Trump does. See, Steve, I only asked because I was a union rep, and over here, government jobs so well enough paid. As a union, we wanted more permanent jobs than overtime. I mean, if the union negotiates for that and agrees to that's I guess that's one thing. But problem is that, if you live in a country like the United States that has like all these states with so-called right to work laws, which means just right to fire, you're going to end up sticking a lot of people with very bad deals at that point. So greed makes the MAGA world go round. Make America greedy again. That's what MAGA should stand for. Make America greedy again. It's against the different culture, P2025. Well, I mean, the way to fire people, the Republicans have been doing that for a while. Republicans have been fighting putting into place union busting rules for a long time. They've been saying so-called right to work states, which basically means right to fire again. They'll do things like making it so that if you are a union and you charge union dues, they're trying to make it so that you don't have to pay, that if you're working at a union shop but don't want to pay union dues, that you should be able to get out of paying for union dues, but they still then want to require the unions to protect those people when it comes to lawsuits. to give them the same representation as if they were members of the union. And that's some BS right there. That's completely anti-union BS, because if you don't want to pay for the union dues, you shouldn't get the union benefits. And again, if it goes against, typical conservative. Typically, a conservative would argue that if you have that two entities or whatever should be able to come together and sign a contract without any government involved. That's typically what a conservative would say. But in the case of unions, they don't say that to unions. When it comes to unions, they don't like the idea that a union can negotiate with a shop and say, hey, this is going to be a union shop, so if you want our workers to work for your shop, you're going to have to agree to these certain set of circumstances, including every employee pays union dues. And so if the company agrees to that and they agree to it, then if you come in and work for the company and you don't want to pay union dues, well, then go work for some other company, because that company is a union shop that negotiated union dues to be paid by every employer. But no, the Republicans want to fight that. They want to stop that. They want to make it so that unions can't do that anymore. They want to take all of the freaking power and teeth out of a union, and then the workers will be like, well, why don't I have the benefits that I had anymore? Because you killed unions. Because you're trying to kill unions. And the unions aren't going to just lay down and let it happen, but the Republicans, conservatives out there are trying to make it damn hard for them to survive. So, Steve, we have pretty good laws. You can't fire people for FA reason laws unless you're a temp, then you're effed. Fair enough. Unemployment requirements, Josh, also do, I believe, can be vary by state. I think in some more progressive states, if they fire you for cause, I think the unemployment laws might be a little more strict. Whereas in Louisiana, I know somebody who was technically fired for cause, but she's still eligible for employment because, again, we're a right-to-work state, i.e. right-to-fire state. So unless they can prove that you did something horribly negligent, you still will qualify for unemployment. But again, you should have worker protections on top of not allowing people to just simply get fired on a whim and then not be able to collect unemployment either. So, I once looked up the religious holidays in the UK that would get me the more time at home, and the Buddhist isn't the one. They have one day, so if you're a Muslim in the UK, you can have the holidays. Nice. They did that with one of the public schools in Baltimore when I was living there. Baltimore County had a public school called, it was Pikesville High, and it was like 90-something% Jewish. So most of the people would stay home on Yom Kippur for the fasting, whatever. But then sometimes you'd end up with a non-Jewish student coming in, and it was like, "Why didn't you come in yesterday?" "Oh, it was Yom Kippur." "Are you Jewish?" "No, but everyone else is, and everyone else is staying home. Why should I have to come in?" What can you say at that point, right? So I'm not going to sit here and argue with people over that. It would make more sense just to close the darn school if 90-something% of the students are not going to be in school that day. Anyway, we are going to go ahead. I'm starting to get a little tired. Again, the Zep bound is wearing thin, making me very tired. Yes, if you haven't hit like and subscribe yet, please make sure to do so. Please remember to go share lots of videos. There are lots of videos and playlists that are I think will be very beneficial to other people watching. But anyway, this is the end of today's episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. If you want to join me on gaming tomorrow while I game, you can still get the Discord thing if you buy a nerdydan.com win. I'll be on nerdydan.com on Twitch, twitch.tv/nerdydan.com, probably close to 8. I'll get that taken care of. Then we'll back here Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central, again here, liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube link, or twitch.tv/liberaldanradio for more Talk from the Left, that's right.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.